I'm a little late to this party, but I finally have the Google Pixel 5 in-house, and I am very excited to try this out. So this phone came out over a month ago, but the reason I didn't buy it was because I honestly just wanted to wait for the Black Friday deals. I knew this was going to get some sort of discount, and I said I had enough phones to work on right now, so let's wait until this gets discounted. And of course it did, so I got this for $650 instead of the $700. I was really expecting a bigger deal, but $50 is $50. I'll take it. And this is the Pixel 5 in Sorta Sage, so it's a greenish color, but they call it Sorta Sage. You know, they have this crazy naming scheme. There's not much to choose from here. It's got 128 gigs, and it's pretty much very similar to the Pixel 4a in a lot of ways. So let me go ahead and open up this box. So this year, a big change is that Google has kind of backtracked since they were with the Pixel 4. So, wow, okay. I'm sorry I kind of interrupting myself there. I'll come back to what I was saying before, but here's the phone right here. Man, this is a weird look. This almost looks like, when you look at it, that the texture looks like cardboard for some reason, but all right, here we go. Here's that color. Don't know if you guys can see that, but there is dust on the camera right out of the box. Not a fan of that. I noticed this on my iPhone 12 mini, I believe, as well. It's kind of weird to see that. Never a good sign, right? You should never do that. When you open the phone, you want it to look nice and clean. But so let me pull this out. Looks pretty nice. The green is a unique color, I'll say that for sure. I haven't seen any phones in this color before. Feels good in the hand. Let me put that off to the side. Let's see what's inside. So there's just this pamphlet right there. Not very high quality, just got stuff there. You got your SIM card removal tool, and then just warnings and stuff like that. In the box, you've got charger, you've got your cable, USB-C to C, you've got a USB-C to A adapter as well, which is very helpful for you know, connecting to a USB-A. You know, you can use it as a dongle for your laptop. So this is what I usually do with these. I just use them as a dongle for my laptop, which is great. It's just nice to have that in the box. So not a lot going on in here, but really I didn't expect much in the first place. So let me go back to what I was saying before I got this out of the box. So this is the Pixel 5, right? So the Pixel 4 was very different. So what happened with this was a very expensive phone. It came in two sizes, and it was kind of, what I want to say about it is it was Google being a little bit too ambitious in a lot of ways. So right off the bat, they had a Face ID type system, so facial recognition. And the thing is, they put a radar in here as well to help with something. I really don't know. But really, it was really a waste of space. They never utilized it, and it just ended up being very useless. This was an $800 phone, a $900 phone out of the box only, and that's starting at 64 gigs, and there was just not a lot going for this phone. You know, it had a really small battery, and overall, not the greatest phone. The Pixel 5, they've backtracked in many ways. So this doesn't have a high-end processor like this did. So this had the Snapdragon 855, I'm sorry, the 855. This doesn't have that. This has the Snapdragon 765, which is a mid-range processor compared to the more high-end processor that this has. And honestly, it's a little bit weird to think about it, right? This is now the flagship phone, the most expensive new phone that Google sells, and they don't have the highest end chip, which is a weird thing to see because you always have at least one phone that has the highest end chip when you're such a big company. But they're definitely going a very different way with the strategy. Another new element here is that they have the Google logo in a metal build right there, so that's really cool. The button also, the power button is not a different color, but it is metal. It's got a shiny metal finish compared to the more matched finish the volume button has. I like it, you know, it's cool. It's definitely Google's thing to do a unique looking powered button, and I think this suits it well. Not the biggest fan of this color, I'll be honest with you, but the black was way too boring too, so I just like, whatever, let's get this. And what we see also on the back is a return to the fingerprint scanner. So they have ditched the facial recognition, the Face ID setup they had. They've gone back to fingerprint. But one thing you will notice is the camera setup looks quite similar. There still is two lenses, but the thing is, we no longer have that telephoto. There is now an ultra wide. So Google was really making fun of the ultra wide when the Pixel 4 came out, but now they have realized that ultra wide is actually kind of the more useful lens of the two, and they finally came to their senses with this. So let me go ahead and get the plastic off of here, and let's power the phone on. So now the display does not have a huge notch at the top. I'm sorry, a huge bezel at the top. It's got a punch hole on the very extreme left, and honestly, it looks really good. Like, these bezels are really tight to the corners, and they look very, very uniform. Like, I think this is one of the most uniform bezels I've seen all around in a very long time. It looks fantastic. Like, really, really a big step up from this, where you guys can see, like, it's just a night and day difference comparatively. The size. One thing, I'm very happy that they stuck with this size. It's almost exactly the same size as the Pixel 4, and I specifically went with the Pixel 4 even though I knew it would have battery problems, because I prefer this size. I don't like the larger sized phones, and the Pixel 4 XL, honestly, I just wasn't feeling it anyway. So I got the smaller one. The battery life was an issue, but at least the size was great. So I'm happy they stuck with this size, but also a little bit, it was confusing why they didn't at least have another larger size option with this, just a Pixel 5 XL like they've always had. They are simplifying their line, but it is weird. The weird thing, though, is that the Pixel 4a 5G has a larger screen than this, which is weird. So what I'm going to do is real quick set this phone up, try it out, see what it's like, and come right back to you guys. Alright, so spent the last couple of minutes setting up the Pixel, using it, comparing it to the 4a and the 4, and let me start off talking about the build quality. So the material used is, so this is technically an aluminum phone, but they have this coating on top of it that doesn't feel really that good. It really does harken back to the Pixel 2 days, if you guys remember how that phone felt. It was metal as well, but had this weird coating on top of it that I never liked, and I still don't like it. Continues to just be annoying. I much rather preferred the smooth plastic design of the Pixel 4 4a, but I really did love the glass back with matte finish on the Pixel 4. So this was definitely my favorite compared to the past Pixels, but this one is good too, but this one just not really a fan of. The color is called Sorta Sage. This is a green color. As I said, I'm not the greatest fan of it, but I think I will warm up to it over the days. The Google logo is now a metal insert, which is a nice touch. It definitely adds a little bit of contrast there. I think that's definitely a cool touch. The button as well. The Pixels have kind of been known for their colored power buttons. You guys can see they've always kind of go with a colored power button theme. This time around, the color is matching, but the material isn't. So this is a little bit more of a shiny metal compared to the volume buttons that just match the rest of the texture of the phone. So that's a cool little touch. It looks cool. It matches the Google logo inlaid right down there. One more thing I did notice was that the fingerprint scanner, this is actually, if you guys can tell on camera, it clearly looks like it's recessed in. It just looks like there's a cut there and it's placed in there. It doesn't look like it's seated all the way through, which is weird when you compare it to the Pixel 4a, which is just so much better. It just, when you look at it, the Pixel 4a feels like the more expensive phone, just the way the fingerprint sensor is set up compared to this. I don't know what's going on there. It just like makes no sense whatsoever, because this is the more expensive phone. This is twice the price, but somehow manages to not keep up with the Pixel on that. Buttons. So buttons are weird, a little bit less tactile than the Pixel 4a, and they definitely don't come out as much. They're a little bit sunken in comparatively. So I definitely prefer the button feel of the Pixel 4a and the 4 as well. The 4 had pretty good button feel as well. This has slightly reduced button feel. It doesn't travel as much, and it doesn't stick out as much either. Otherwise, build quality feels pretty good. I really wish that they'd chosen some other type of material. Next, let's move on to the display. So this is a 6-inch display. As I said, it's got that cutout at the top left, and it's a pretty, I want to say, like, this is a very modern looking display. It's probably the most modern looking Pixel out there, and it's got ridiculously thin bezels. Like, I did not see that coming. These are uniform and they look fantastic. That's a really good move. The Pixel 4 had this huge bezel on the top. The 4a is really good too. But it does have a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel than the top bezel, but this is way more uniform, almost identical, I want to say. and it looks great. So display wise, that's fantastic. I did compare it to the color and the accuracy of it to the Pixel 4a. They look almost identical, but this does have 90 Hz refresh like the Pixel 4 does, so that is a little bit of an upgrade. So moving on, let's talk about the cameras, the thing the Pixels are known for. Now, one thing I find extremely annoying, even though this does have a wide-angle lens now, they don't give you a quick toggle to just change between the cameras. So you guys can see right here, I'm on the camera app, and there is no toggle whatsoever to switch between the cameras. The way you do this is, I'm not kidding, you literally have to pinch out. And that's when you can actually see the slider show up in the first place. And then if you want to go back to the normal zoom, what you have to do is you have to literally slide it back to 1x exactly. You can't just tap on it and have it change. It'll just not do that. You literally have to tap and slide it back to 1 carefully. Make sure you don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you'll be digitally zoomed instead of being at the exact crop that the sensor should be at. It's so frustrating. Like, who even thought of not adding this? Like, whoever was in charge of this should really, really be fired. Like, that is inexcusable. Like, come on, that's crazy. I can't believe you would do this. It's just, okay. That being said, let me move on. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. This has a mid-range processor and not a flagship processor like the previous Pixels usually did. So, with the cameras doing a lot of post-processing, how does it keep up? So what I'm going to do here is, I'll take a portrait selfie on both of these cameras, and what we'll do is we will compare them and see how long they take to process. So, all right, so front camera photo in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's move in. And processing there, processed. All right, so as you guys saw, they took about the same amount of time to process, but I will tell you this, the Pixel 4 quality on the front camera is way, way better. Like, it is no competition at all. So let me do that one more time. You guys can just even see with the viewfinder, like this looks way worse. Honestly, the front camera is a step down on the Pixel 5 compared to the Pixel 4. That's definitely somewhere where they have cut a little bit of cost. But as you guys saw, the processing power there is pretty stacked. So that's one thing you definitely don't have to worry about. That was something I was definitely worried about as to whether this, because of the intense post-processing, will the mid-range chip be able to keep up? And luckily enough, it's looking like it will be able to, at least for the time being. We'll see in the future how it plays out, but I'll definitely mention this a little bit more in my full review. Finally, let's talk about something else I noticed, the speakers. So this does have a stereo speaker setup, but the weird thing is, if you guys look very closely here, there is no earpiece, like absolutely none. It is not present. And this was confusing to me, but then I realized, I did a little bit of Googling, the earpiece is, I thought for a second, wait, does this have one of those earpieces that just vibrates the screen and that's how you're supposed to know? But no, turns out this has the speaker behind the screen. So right in the center, behind the screen there is the speaker for the earpiece, and the audio just kind of comes out from however it can, and that actually makes it sound a lot more muted and almost like it's being muffled a little bit. So when I played the same song on the 4A and compared it to the 5, the 4A speakers just sounded more clear, a little bit better, and overall definitely the one I would choose, the way they sounded. So it's interesting, right? How trying to be more modern, they've kind of missed something. I would have absolutely been okay with a little cutout like this one has, if you guys can see right there. I would have been absolutely fine with this if I would have gotten the same speaker quality. I really don't know why sometimes you're trying to reinvent the wheel. There's more than enough spare space right there to stuff it in. I guess maybe there's more into this that I don't know about, but I feel like that's a downgrade, right? The phone that's cheaper sounds better than the more expensive one, and really you don't get much in return for that. I would have much rather taken that little earpiece up there. So that's it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys think of the Pixel 5 compared to the 4 and 4a. As I said, very surprised with the way things are panning out, but I am kind of happy with the overall product lineup going here. And I'm sure since I'm a little bit late to this party, there must be people watching that have already been using the Pixel 5 for a couple weeks. So let me know what you think of it if you're watching. And let me know what your thoughts are comparing these phones. You know, are you on the same page with me? Do you think there's something I'm missing? I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on social media. All the handles right here on the screen, and of course down in the description as well. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Pixel 4 and Pixel 5 and 4a content coming really soon. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.